Hi students, it's Instructor Shane. Just wanted to kind of go over some firearms handling drills that I see a lot on the range. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how we're going to reload our firearm. So like anything else when I do dry fire practice, I'm always going to ensure my firearm's clear, and then because I'm introducing magazines into my dry fire practice, I'm going to make sure that my magazines are empty and there's no live ammunition in my workspace. So when we talk about reloading a firearm, what I want you to do is make Pac-Man, right? And then go ahead and make Pac-Man be quiet, and then go ahead and make Pac-Man face you. Now, with your support index finger, what I want you to do is go ahead and stick your finger in Pac-Man's ear without looking. So the reason we do the Pac-Man analogy is Pac-Man ultimately becomes my gun, right? Where when I sit there and load my gun, the big thing is when I put ammunition for pistols on my body, I always want the bullet face down and facing my belly button, okay? Because that way when I draw that magazine out of its carrier, my finger goes straight, and now I can go ahead and reload my gun without even looking, right? So it's important that we always put ammunition magazines in the proper place on our body to help with a successful reload. Now, the first way we're going to talk about reloading our firearm, the first way we're going to reload our firearm is what we call an emergency reload. What an emergency reload looks like is I go bang, 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 my gun's going to go to slide lock, and from there I'm going to drop that mag, get my new mag up into the gun, and then get my gun back into the fight. So that is going to be our emergency reload. Next, we're going to talk about what a tactical reload is. So what a tactical reload is I might go bang, bang, bang and not know how much ammunition's still in my gun. My gun might go to slide lock. But with a tactical reload, I'm going to get my magazine up to the gun, drop this magazine goes in, I'm going to get my gun back into the fight, and then I'm going to go ahead, retain that magazine. Now, my question to you guys is a self-defender, when are you ever going to have to do a tactical reload? You're never going to have to do a tactical reload. So tactical reloads are meant for military law enforcement that have to be in that sustained gunfight. I look at statistical data that John Correa, who's the chief instructor at Active Self-Protection, sees. So he's watched probably 23,000 videos at this point. And only 2 of those videos, a reload was required to dictate the outcome of the gunfight, right? And they were both law enforcement officers. So with that, I ask students all the time, well, are you going to carry a spare mag on you with whatever you do? Some say yes, some say no. Me personally, because I live in Temecula, Marietta area, I usually only carry 1 mag, right? Statistically speaking, I'm not going to need that second mag. I will say though, now with the Black Friday kind of shopping at food stores and cleaning supplies and water and toilet paper, I have started carrying a spare magazine, but typically I haven't up until that point. So I'm never going to do a tactical reload. Most people do tactical reloads. Why? They don't want to drop their magazines on the ground, right? They're like, oh, it's an HK mag. I paid $55 for it. So the thing is, typically all my magazines, my carry magazines, have a C on them, and they never see the range at all. They are strictly for my carry firearm when I'm carrying. I have plenty of training magazines. They usually get the letter T put on them. That way, hey, those are my training mags. I can drop them on the ground on the range. I can abuse them, but they are meant for training. So typically, the reload we're going to need is what we call an administrative reload. So when I draw, come out and go bang, 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 I probably don't know how many rounds I fired. But if I'm carrying a spare magazine, what can I go ahead and do? I can go ahead and top off that magazine. So what an administrative reload looks like, bang, 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 Clyde's on the ground. I'm going to get that spare mag, come up to the gun, drop that mag, new mag in. How long was my gun actually out of the fight? Well, a Glock, because it doesn't have a magazine disconnect, I still at least had one round in the chamber. Where if I had a magazine disconnect in my gun, I would have taken my gun out of the fight for a split second, right? Now, how we end up loading a gun, right? So, can anyone tell me what this is called? This is actually called a slide stop, okay? It's not a slide release. This lever was never designed to send a slide forward. So the thing is, if we look at the little lip or ledge on magazines, when I put that empty magazine in there and this slide actuates back, it stops its cycle of operation. Hence why it's called a slide stop, okay, or a slide latch. So it's only designed to lock this back to the rear. Have you ever been shooting and you went to use that slide stop to send your slide forward and you might have had to push it 1 or 2 times, right? So that's a fine motor skill, right? In a use of force encounter, we're probably going to lose our fine motor skills. So what I do anytime I rack a slide, I take my support hand, I come up over top, making sure my hand's out of the way of this pinch point. I am going to rack back and just let it slingshot forward. Because this is going to work 100 out of 100 times, where depending on the grip I have, trying to use the slide stop to send that slide forward isn't going to work 100 out of 100 times. Now, the reason I come over top here to rack that slide and not pinch it, this is universal. Coming over top and grabbing that slide is universal for any firearm. A lot of firearms have a mechanical safety back here on the slide, so if I went to pinch that slide, I probably run the risk of engaging that safety when I didn't want to. So those are the 3 ways that we can reload a firearm and how we're going to ultimately load that firearm coming over top, racking that slide. It was great having you watch this video. Have a great day.